I'm ready to stop reading, but I need a bookmark. Should I grab a receipt, part of the box from gum, or should I grab this super cute fabric corner bookmark? Obviously, I'm going to go for this. You know, studies show that people with cute bookmarks read more, retain more, and enjoy their books even more than those who use receipts or trash, basically. Okay, maybe studies don't say that, but I say that. I mean, look at how cute that looks. So I'm going to show you 3 different sizes that you can make, and you can decide which one you like the best. These make a great addition to a gift of a book. It's a super quick and easy thing to sew and sell, and it is just fun to have for yourself. So I'm going to show you 3 different sizes, 3.5-inch square, 3-inch square, and a 2.5-inch square. They are each cut from a square of fabric that is a 1/2 inch larger, so 4-inch, 3.5-inch, and 3-inch. It requires 3 pieces of fabric. 1 piece for the back, 1 piece for this full square where the book's pages are going to go over top, and then 1 that we're going to be folding into a triangle for that top corner. Then you're also going to use a piece of interfacing. I am using this interfacing, fusible interfacing from Heat and Bond, and it's kind of like a paper feel to it. It's just going to give the bookmark a little bit more shape and stability. And this gets cut a 1/2 inch smaller than whichever size square you are starting with. You're going to be turning over the back one, and you will fuse this right into the center. That way you're not going to have this extra paper inside your seam allowance. Your seam allowance will pretty much just go right around that. So those are the pieces that you need. Now these flowers do have a direction. The top is all up here, but they're not super directional and they're not large icons like some of these are. So you can just cut that however you want. And if you fold it into a triangle and make sure you put it on here where the flowers are facing up, it's going to be beautiful. You just don't want to do it where the flowers look like they're falling down into your book. However, if you like using fabrics with more icons and you want to be more specific, I'm going to teach you how to fussy cut into any of these sizes, or how to fussy cut so that you have exactly what you want on the back of your bookmark. So let's get started. Now these sizes sound well and good, but what do they look like in a book? Let me show you. Back to our Secret Lives of Colors. This is the larger one, which is 3.5 by 3.5, which is pretty big, in my opinion. Then this one is the 3 by 3. And then this one is the 2.5 by 2.5. So you can see they're all going to hold the pages. They're just going to hold a little bit differently. And then if we take them out, I just want to show you, it doesn't really add a lot of bulk. You put a few pages around it, and it's not going to harm your book. Now, this is kind of a medium-sized hardback book, but what if you are just, reading an airport book? So let's grab John Grisham and see what they look like in here. So this is just a more traditional size novel, and that's getting a bit big, in my opinion. The medium one, I'm like Goldilocks in the bookmark. That's that size. And the smaller one. So I think this is my favorite. It works well, and the fact that I have the ruler that is the perfect size to make it makes everything that much easier for me. So I think this is my go-to size, but you can decide which size you like the best. Let me know in the comments what you think you would lean into. Would you be doing the 3.5-inch finished, the 3-inch, or the 2.5-inch finished? Let me know. So we are going to make another corner bookmark just like this. This is the 3-inch size, and we're going to put this little covered bridge here, and we're going to fussy cut so it is centered on the back. So I have a piece of fabric, and fussy cut basically means just to be very deliberate about what part of the fabric you're using. So if you happen to be lucky and you have a ruler, so this square ruler is the exact size that I need. It's 3.5-inch square, and it has this line here so that I can see what is going to be in that top triangle when I fold it in half to make that shape. Now, if I was making a lot of them at once, I would take a piece of painter's tape, or this is washi tape, which is just a very low tack tape, and I would put it on my ruler just past that line. I want to be able to see the line. because then my eye very easily looks in this top corner. It's not going to mess around down here. So just visually makes it a little faster. Then I can just move my ruler around and decide where I want it. So do I want more of this tree, but then I cut off a bit of the bridge? Do I want it here? Anything under the blue won't show because that is going to be in your seam allowance. Anything inside the blue and to this side of this tape, so in this triangle, is going to show on your corner bookmark. So we could do that. We could do this brown one. We could do this white one. So you can just pick different scenes. We could do trees. The main thing is you have to make sure that the ruler is totally on the fabric. So if we tried to do it down here, it wouldn't work because our fabric ends here, but we need the fabric to go all the way to here. So that's one way if you have the perfect size ruler. If you don't, you can use a bigger ruler and tape off the whole square, but I want to show you what I have created. I'm pretty excited about it. I do talk about fussy cutting a bit because I design a bit of fabric where I like to fussy cut. So I have a tutorial for making these 3-size bookmarks in my Etsy shop. So it's got lots of photos. We'll walk you through all of these steps. And it's also going to have these templates. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut these out. The gray is the 1/4 inch seam. So it's basically what this blue does on the ruler. And then you're going to cut out the dark part so that we have like a little window that we can use to figure out what's what. So I just take these sharp scissors. I love these Fiskars, easy action. They're really easy on your thumb. That nice point makes it easy to get into the corner and just trim out the dark section. I also added the size, like the size fabric, and then the size bookmark that you will make on each of these templates so that you don't have to scratch your head if you use them and then you come back another time and want to make more. Just make sure you're not using fabric scissors for this, obviously. Paper scissors, everyone, paper scissors. So that's how you make your template. So this one is the same size as the ruler. We can use this to do the same thing, right? So you're not going to see what's down here, but it's really easy. You don't have to tape or anything. You're just kind of moving the window and seeing exactly what's what and what's going to be where. So let's get a cutting mat. And I'm going to use this rotating one because then we can leave the fabric alone and move the mat and not have to move this quite as much. So this is what we're looking for. We want to have this bridge and a bit of the road in there. Then I'm going to take this, I'm just going to butt it up against there and cut. Now, if I was using the ruler, I could just cut around it, but then you end up with some weird lines sometimes. So what you could also do is take 2 rulers, take one that is basically as long or longer than your fabric, butt it up next to it, move that one, and then cut. That makes sure that your scrap that is left has a nice straight cut on it. And then it also has one edge lined up so we can do the rest just moving around. Now, depending on how much you use rotary cutters, you might want to just turn and be going straight on every cut because sometimes if you do it this way, you might angle a little bit. It takes a little bit of practice. I've even seen people that can do 1, 2, 3. I cannot go this way and I can't really go this way very easily. It's faster for me to turn it. So rotary cutting around something is a skill that takes practice like most things. So now we have this ready and we have our perfect corner. So now let's get this part. And I'm going to fussy cut this too. You don't have to. This is where your book pages are going to go. But if you have it on the table while you're reading, it looks cute to have the cute little covered bridge there opposite that one. And then we're just going to do the same thing. We're just going to move it around, but this time we're looking at the bottom left triangle instead of the upper right. So you can do it with the ruler or you can use the piece of paper. So just turn it and then you can just see what is going to be where. So now we have the corner and the bottom. And now we need to fussy cut the back. And this is just going to be the full square. So if we were using this, you can't really see through part of it. I guess you could print it again and cut that corner out so then you have the full square if you think you're going to be doing a lot of fussy cutting like this. But I usually just do this, and then I like peek and make sure that all looks good. Now, if you were sewing and selling these, this obviously takes a bit longer than if you used a fabric more like the flowers, where you can just cut, and cut without having to pay attention to what is going on. You might sell it a little faster if somebody really likes what you've put up here. I'm not sure how much more money you would get for it versus something that is random. I'm not sure how much more value someone's going to see with this than with this, but I don't know, you could give it a try. And then I have a 3-inch square of the interfacing. So we have our back, our inside, our triangle, and our interfacing. And now let's go to the ironing board. So here are 3 pieces. This is the back. So I'm going to turn that over. I'm going to put my interfacing, making sure the shiny side is down because we want it to adhere to the fabric and not to our iron. Going to follow manufacturer's instructions and just adhere that. Now we're going to take this one and we are going to just fold it corner to corner to make a triangle and press. This is going to be our front. This is our back. I'm going to grab 3 clips, and the way I clip is very important too, because it helps me when I'm sewing, especially if I'm making a lot of these. You don't want to have to be checking and making sure you like where you're starting and stopping. So I have a system for how I do this. Ask my husband, I have systems for almost everything. So I'm going to put the front base fabric down. Then I'm going to put the triangle. I always like my triangle in the upper right. Then I'm going to take this and I'm going to flip it so they are right sides together. Because these are directional, I want to make sure they're the same direction. I don't want this to be sideways or upside down. If you're using non-directional, doesn't matter at all. So I have all these edges lined up, and now I'm going to do 3 clips. The top of the triangle and the 2 sides. So I like to leave my opening at the bottom of my bookmark. I would either do it here or here. You definitely want it to be on this individual place and not on the triangle. So by putting my clips there, I know that I'm going to start here, go all the way around, and stop here, leaving as much of this as possible open for turning. The smaller ones, the harder it is to turn. So now we just need to go to the sewing machine. I'm going to just use gray thread. I could use white with this one, but I made a bunch earlier and I found just using gray kind of neutral, I didn't have to change my thread as much. So we're gonna sew around. And you'll notice I'm pretty much at the edge of that interfacing when I need to turn. And if I'm slow enough to stop a little bit short, I'll lift my foot, turn it 45 degrees and take 1 stitch, and then lift and turn. That is a way to make it so that your corners are going to be a little bit sharper. So it's a good habit to get into. You really do need to leave quite a bit of space on these 2 smaller sizes so that you can turn it right side out. Now, before we do the turning and the pressing, we need to clip these corners. And I like to clip from both sides. Make sure you don't clip where you have the opening because you're going to need that fabric to fold under so that we can get this closed nice and secure. Now I'm going to turn this right side out. Now I want to show you one thing that sometimes makes me panic when I'm turning things right side out. You remember this is going to be on the front, but sometimes when you turn it right side out, your triangle ends up in front of the back. So if it's on the upper left and it's not fussy cut like you wanted, don't panic. Just flip it. It's just flipped in the wrong direction. Then I'm going to take a turning tool and I'm going to gently push at these corners. If you push too hard, you're going to end up with threads coming through because you're going to push through that fabric a little bit. So sometimes I like to squeeze it along the seams too. Helps get a little bit of a better corner. Then our opening, we just need to get those threads inside. And I'm going to line that up with my fingers first. And then we're going to press. I want it nice and flat, so I press it pretty well. And then I'm going to use my Tailor's clapper. The quilter's clapper is their shorter one. Riley Blake calls the longer one the Tailor's clapper. It's basically the same type of piece of wood, just a different length. But what it does is it helps to really flatten those seams, and it also takes some of the heat out so that it's not as hot to the touch. So now it is pressed and all we need to do is sew all the way around the edge and it's done. So if you want to sew and sell, or you like giving books like to grandchildren or friends, your book club, this is a great and easy little gift to whip up. Now that we have this pressed and we have it sewn and flipped, this is getting a little bit thick. So I'm going to use these little folded pieces of fabric. It was basically, I think, a 4 or 5 inch square. I folded it in half, zigzagged the edge to make these little pockets. I use it to hang quilts up. But I also use it to help even things up. If I didn't use it, we'd have that much space between this and my needle plate. But if I bump that up against it, it's now even. So it gives your presser foot and your feed dogs something to work with to get going. So it's a little bit easier on your machine and it's going to make it so it doesn't kind of stall out on you. So now I'm just going to sew close to the edge all the way around. I like to start on this corner, this opposite corner, and sew all the way around. I don't want to be starting or stopping on the pretty corner of the bookmark, and it's a little more awkward to start over here. I'm also going to pull up my bobbin thread. So I put my presser foot down, put my needle down, needle up. By pulling up the bobbin thread, you're going to make sure you don't have a weird knot from your machine mistakenly and rudely pulling your thread underneath. So you're going to grab both. You're going to hold them back while you get started. So just take a few stitches forward and then back to secure the thread, and then you're just going to keep going. Now, as I sew, each time I turn, I'm going to put this back behind here just to keep things a bit evened up. Now with another one, I did try just sewing this part and leaving this top corner unsewn. It gives a little bit of a different look, but I didn't like it as much because it made this whole thing like a little bit puffier in the book. So I'm a fan of doing the entire circle, but take a look and let me know what you think. Let me know in the comments if you like it better when you just sew the bottom closed and up this side and leave the corner that goes over the pages unsewn, or if you like it just sewn all the way around. Then you're just going to trim the thread and it's ready for a book. All right, so what do you think? Are you going to take a stab at some corner bookmarks? Let me know in the comments which size you like. And I am going to get back to The Secret Lives of Color. It is a lot more interesting than you might think. So I'm going to drop a link to this book. If you like to learn about color and some fascinating little stories, you might love this book, or it might be one that you want to gift to someone in your life. Happy sewing and happy reading.